Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learn English with Alexa. I am Mike.
And I am co-host Jennifer. Today, we're discussing a common struggle, how to think in English. Many people face this challenge. Mike, why do you think it's so difficult for some learners?
Jennifer, I think a big reason is that people often rely too much on their native language. They feel comfortable translating their thoughts, which can slow them down. Have you seen this in your own experience?
Definitely. I remember when I was learning English, I would pause during conversations because I was translating everything in my head. It felt frustrating. What do you think learners can do to overcome this?
One approach is to practice thinking in English throughout the day. For example, try describing your surroundings in English, even if you're just talking to yourself. It helps your brain get used to the language.
That's a great tip. I've started doing that when I go for walks. I'll say things like, "The sky is blue," or "I see a dog." It helps me think more naturally.
Exactly, another common struggle is fear of making mistakes. Many learners hesitate to speak because they worry about how they sound. Have you felt that way?
For sure. I used to be so nervous about my pronunciation. But I learned that making mistakes is part of the process. The more you speak, the more confident you become.
Absolutely. Joining a supportive group can help with that. It's a safe space where everyone is learning together, so you can practice without feeling judged.
Great point. Language exchange meetups are perfect for that. You can practice speaking with native speakers who want to learn your language too. It feels more relaxed.
Another issue is vocabulary. Some learners feel stuck because they don't have enough words to express their thoughts. How can they tackle that?
One way is to focus on learning phrases rather than just individual words. When you learn phrases, it's easier to put sentences together in conversations. Plus, it sounds more natural.
That's a smart approach. Also, using flashcards can help build vocabulary. You can create cards for phrases you want to remember and review them regularly.
Definitely. And let's talk about media. Consuming English media like movies or podcasts can help you hear how the language is used in context. It makes it easier to think in English over time.
Yes, I found that watching shows with English subtitles helps a lot. You see the words while hearing them, which reinforces understanding.
That's a fantastic strategy. Another way to practice is to keep a journal in English. Writing about your day helps train your brain to think in the language.
Absolutely. Journaling allows you to express your thoughts without the pressure of speaking. It can be a great way to build confidence.
Mike, what do you think it means to think in a language?
Jennifer, thinking in a language means that when you have ideas or feelings, you express them directly in that language, without translating from your native language. It can be tricky at first. Why do you think it's important?
I think it's important because it helps you speak more fluently. When you think in English, you can respond quickly in conversations. You don't have to stop and translate what you want to say. Have you felt that way while learning?
Definitely. When I was learning Spanish, I would always translate everything in my head. It made me slow. But after watching Spanish movies and listening to music, I started to think in Spanish. It helped a lot. What do you think makes immersion so helpful?
Immersion is really helpful because it surrounds you with the language. When you watch movies or listen to music in English, you start to pick up phrases and words naturally. It feels more real.
Exactly. I read that our brains can change and adapt. This is called neuroplasticity. The more we practice English, the better our brains get at thinking in it.
That's so true. Also, I think being interested in what you're learning makes a big difference. If you enjoy a movie or book in English, you're more likely to practice. Do you have any tips for someone trying to think in English?
Sure. One good tip is to keep a journal in English. Writing about your day or your thoughts helps you get used to expressing yourself in English. Another idea is to talk to yourself in English. It might feel a bit strange at first, but it can really help.
Those are great tips. Another way is to label things in your house with their English names. For example, put sticky notes on the fridge, door, or any other items. This helps you remember words better.
That's a fun idea. And we should remember that it takes time. It's normal to feel frustrated when you're learning. Thinking in English won't happen overnight. It takes practice and patience.
Exactly. Setting small goals can help. Maybe you could aim to think in English for just a few minutes each day. Over time, those minutes will add up and become easier.
And don't forget about community. Joining a group where you can practice speaking English with others can be very helpful. Whether it's a class, a language exchange, or even online groups, having support makes a big difference.
Absolutely. Having friends to practice with can boost your confidence. Plus, you can learn from each other. It's a great way to make learning more enjoyable. Mike, what's one method you think can really help learners?
Jennifer, one effective method is shadowing. This involves listening to a speaker and repeating what they say in real time. It can improve pronunciation and help you get used to thinking in English.
That's a great technique. It's like training your brain to process the language faster. Have you tried shadowing with any particular content?
Yes, I've done it with TED Talks. They're often engaging and have clear speech. Plus, you can choose topics that interest you, which makes it more enjoyable.
That's a fantastic idea. Another solution is to create a language-rich environment. Surrounding yourself with English books, music, and podcasts can help reinforce learning. Do you have any favorite resources?
I love using language learning apps like Duolingo or Babbel. They offer fun exercises and games that make practicing English feel less like a chore. Plus, they're great for vocabulary building.
Absolutely. Those apps can be very helpful. Another approach is to watch shows or movies with English subtitles. This way, you can see the words while hearing them, which strengthens your connection to the language.
That's a smart strategy. You can also pause and repeat lines to practice speaking. It's a fun way to learn expressions and intonation.
Exactly. And how about joining online communities? Websites like Reddit or language exchange platforms can connect you with others who are also learning. It's a great way to practice and share tips.
Definitely. Being part of a community makes learning more interactive. You can ask questions and get instant feedback, which can help clarify any doubts.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike.
Another helpful solution is to engage in storytelling. Try to tell a story in English, whether it's a personal experience or a made-up tale. It encourages creative thinking in the language.
That sounds fun. Storytelling not only helps with language skills, but also builds confidence.
That's smart. And using visual aids can also help. Associating words with images can make them more memorable.
Well said, Mike. Remember, everyone learns differently, so find what works best for you. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. Every time you make a mistake, you learn something new.
Exactly. To sum up, there are many ways to think in English: shadowing, creating a language-rich environment, watching with subtitles, joining communities, setting goals, using flashcards, and storytelling.
The key is to keep practicing and stay engaged. Thanks for joining us on Learn English with Alexa. We hope these conversations help you navigate the journey of thinking in English.
The key is to stay persistent and find methods that work best for you. Join us next time for more insights and tips.